Welcome back. You are watching the AI Report right here on News 9. R Sridharan continues to be with me, the editor international at TV9 Network. Let's dive into the final part of our show. On the 12th of Jan this year, Anthropic released Claude Cowork AI. Now, this last week, it added plugins to the platform that the company claims can automate dozens of tasks, including plugins for customer service, product management, marketing, legal, and data analysis, among others. Now, according to Anthropic, the new tool can generate financial statements, research sales prospects, prep for sales calls, draft customer support responses, and access non-disclosure agreements, as well as review contracts, legal briefings, and build financial models. Is there something that this AI tool cannot do? I don't have an answer to that. Now, this seems to have had a catastrophic effect on tech stocks the world over. In India alone, Infosys fell by 2%, upwards of 2% on Wednesday. This Friday, it took another beating of near 2% when markets opened. Now, TCS has also seen its fair share, losing the day this Anthropic AI was introduced globally. TCS losing as much as 7% of its market value. Now, the stocks have remained pretty much in the red territory all of the week gone by. On Wall Street, the story was even worse. Oracle slumped more than 4%, Adobe more than 2.5%, and Salesforce over 3%. So the impact is not limited just to the Indian IT sector. It also has taken the Nasdaq 100 tech stocks in its wake. So a new paradigm, one would really call it, when it comes to the services orientation of the Indian IT stocks, and all the services that human beings used to do can now potentially be done by these agentic AI bots. Shri, put this all into perspective for us. India's pretty much glory when it comes to our exports to the world, as well as our employment, has been our services sector. And now you have the services sector, which may be manned, if I can use that word, not by human beings, but potentially by agentic AI.
Absolutely. I think the industry is hell-bent on creating these AI workers, Kartik. But let's talking specifically of Anthropic's Claude Cowork plugins. Although these are innocuously called plugins, I think these are much more than that. These are actually independent software applications which so far have been made and managed by independent companies. For example, Salesforce, Intuit, and then the application developers and maintenance companies like TCS, Infosys, and HCLTech, and all the others. So what Claude has done, Anthropic has done, is basically taken different functions within a company and created an application for each of those. So finance, sales, customer service management, marketing, even research, Kartik. So what we are seeing is it now becomes fairly easy for a company to buy, let's say, a Claude Cowork, and then just drop it into its system and then start using it in across its functions. Mm-hmm. Now, it may not happen overnight. There are still a lot of concerns in terms of AI hallucination, data integrity, the safety of data, especially if you're a large company. You're not just going to suddenly hand over all this to an autonomous AI agent. You still need a human intervention. But I think what the market is looking at is the direction, the inexorable path in which AI is now headed, which is that it is going to become more and more autonomous. It is going to become far more smarter. It is not just going to be a dumb. It's not like the plugin that you and I used to download and put it in our Chrome browser. It's not that. This is about autonomous AI employee who's going to do your bidding. And 24/7 without complaining, without asking for a raise.
Absolutely. It's not going to ask for leave. It's not going to ask for a raise. It's going to be a pretty much free to use employee and potentially free to abuse employee in that sense. But we'll come to the employee the conundrum of whether or not IT employees will continue to be employed and in what numbers, because the conversation has moved from AI being a tool to assist the employee to keeping human in the loop, pivoting to human in the lead and the rest of the work being done by AI, to perhaps no need for a human, let AI do its job. But we will come to the employee concerns in just a bit. But I want to understand from you, Shri, first up, that this entire narrative around SaaS collapse, AI apocalypse, is that really something to take very seriously right now? Because in the same breath, we are also talking about AI bubble and the kind of massive investments that the likes of Amazon, for example, are putting in AI. Is actually sending its stock stock price down. So I want to understand from you, AI bubble or AI apocalypse or a complete sort of, shot in the dark where nobody knows what is going to come out of it?
Right. So Kartik, if I were to reduce it to a formula, I would say that 70% of the reaction that we're seeing today is possibly hype. Only 30% is reality. It's not as if I can, as a company today, just start deploying, Claude Cowork without the help of, let's say, a company like TCS, Infosys, or HCL. Because see, I have a lot of legacy systems in my, in my company. I have my own data, which someone needs to train these models on. So there's a lot of integration and the whole task of synthesizing these different tools with my existing tools that needs to be done for it to be efficient. So I think the reaction is a bit excessive, where investors are looking at maybe 5-10 years ahead in terms of what these autonomous agents will do to these companies, the long-term impact. But don't forget that our companies, for example, Infosys, they are building their own AI tools, which will protect their business, and they will need companies will need integrators like an application developer maintenance companies like Infosys, TCS to basically put these things together, make sure that the security, there is no hallucination in the data, and all the other requirements that you have as a company, that your firewall is built and protected and you can operate without any risk to your IT system. So that job will continue to be done by the Infosys and the TCS of the world, Kartik.
Okay, but human beings, or you think over time these firewalls will also be built by agents? So what I'm trying to get to now, Sri, is are humans going to be in the loop? Are humans going to be in the lead? Or are humans going to be left behind? Because we've seen the kind of firings, the pink slips issued by tech firms, not just in India, across the world, has been nothing short of daunting. So is human going to be in the loop, and for how long?
So Kartik, that's very well put. I must say the human will be in the loop, but you talked about people who will lead and those who will be left behind. So unfortunately, the reality as it looks now is that a lot of people will be left behind unless they make themselves AI savvy, unless they teach themselves all these AI tools and become very comfortable using them. There will be a bunch of people who lead the AI innovation, who will obviously be the the researchers, the inventors, people who do that. But for the vast majority of people who are engaged in clerical, autonomous, monotonous tasks, which is like drudgery, that will probably get eliminated very quickly, Kartik. We're already seeing that happening with coding itself. So there's now vibe coding that anyone can using Claude can do vibe coding.
Right.
So even if I don't know coding, I can do coding. So it's like crazy out there.
Final question to you, Sri. We are running out of time. Final question: is the job threat going to be limited only to coders, only to IT employees? Because we are seeing what Anthropic's Claude Cowork can do is also disrupt legal work, can disrupt financial reporting work, can disrupt even marketing, sales. So are there going to be any jobs that you can singularly point out which are likely to be safe?
So Kartik, I talked about everything from finance to sales to marketing to R&D. AI will come for every job that it can. It'll come after every job that it can take, and that's going to be driven by market forces. It's inevitable, because ultimately companies want to be profitable. They want to run the most efficient because they have to compete in the marketplace. So in some sense, the utopian world that Elon Musk talks about, where it's the era of abundance, people aren't working, the state takes care of the people because there's so much of productivity and so much of wealth which is being created by a handful of companies. I hope it doesn't come true, but it is a scary possibility.
It is
I would say at this stage.
In the realm of possibility, plausibility, probability or not, we don't know at the moment. But Sri, it might just be a matter of time before it's not you and me sitting here and having this conversation, and potentially our agentic avatars could do that. But let's leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time, Sri. And with that, we come to an end of another edition of the AI Report. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching News 9.